This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another, and everybody's here this week. It's another episode of the NFC East Show, episode 33. We are moving right along here. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Zodiac TV, and the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. I'm back from my birthday last week. Like I said, I was busy and you guys didn't want to talk to me. Trust me, I was probably 3 sheets to the wind already. And at a hockey game, so I look like Nemo in a fishbowl, on this thing. So, and I want to welcome the guy right below me here, Pork Rind. He's Jeff. He's one of the hog farmers from the Washington football team. We have been doing everything we can to get a Washington fan on here. And Jeff, I'm glad you stepped up to the plate.
Absolutely. Glad to be here, and I appreciate it. And more to come. I'll be back for sure.
Welcome, Pork Rind. I love the name.
Fitting, very fitting.
Although I hate to break this to you, and True Blue has already conceded, I still have the prettiest beard. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
I thought it was me.
You got very nice stubble. You have very nice stubble.
I shouldn't because I just shaved today, but that's beside the point. Hey, listen. So to be honest, Jeff, I really do want to start with you today because it's been a long time. We always cover Washington by saying, "Yeah, they lost. Who cares?" You know what I mean? So I want to hear what you've got to say. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened, a lot of drama that's happened with your team, and it's that's unfootball related. And then it's like, then you got the football team on the field where it just seems like they're not able to put anything together. What's going on down in Washington?
I have no idea. It's funny when the schedule comes out, you look, all right, you're playing the Buccaneers at home. All right, you're probably going to take an L there. You're playing the Chiefs at home. Probably going to take an L there. You're playing Packers in Lambeau. Probably going to take an L there. But to be honest, we had that game. We gave that game to Green Bay. We left at least 28, 31 points on the board.
Wow.
Easily. I saw the highlights during, start of the show of Heineke going for the pylon,
Yep.
And he just done that. I guess the pylon was a little further away. That could have been a game changer right there for us. It's been a miserable season to say the least, and I don't know. I blame the NFC East last year because we were all bad and we just happened to be the team with a 7-9 record to win the East. And it gave a lot of people hope in the NFC East. And it's not looking pretty for us for sure.
Well, not only did it give you hope, but your quarterback, Heineke, played a really good playoff game against Tom Brady.
Yep.
And, then you guys went off and signed Fitzpatrick, who got hurt, in the first game?
First game. It was like the second drive, I believe.
And now here we are.
Yep.
Now here we are tied for second place in the division.
Right. Everybody in that same boat. So do you feel like that this has anything to do with what's going on up in the upper management? Do you think the players are affected by any of this?
I mean, you've got to imagine it does play a little bit into, because they're constantly hearing about it. I honestly thought that bringing Ron on and then getting rid of Bruce Allen and it was going to change, and I felt like we were heading that direction, but it just seems like we can never get out of the drama. I feel like, I hate to say it, I mean he's our owner, but unless Dan sells, man, I think it's going to be this way for years to come.
Wow.
So, I can't hear you,
Jamie. We
Yep.
can't hear you.
That's tough to admit to. Sorry, I'm in a bar, so I try to keep it down as much as possible. That's tough to admit too because it's not like you're going to change teams.
No,
You know what I mean?
absolutely not.
You gotta stick with them, and I can feel that right now because we got our own issues going on. I mean, our coach talking today about plants and fertilizer and roots and
Showing
and
different kinds of flowers.
and I'm
I missed that interview.
Oh,
well, guess what? Yeah, you're going to probably hear it because I'm sure they're going to replay it because it didn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I guess like the thing is like to me, it would have resonated with like a teenager. Like that would be something that you'd be like, hey, listen, you're doing this, and you're giving like metaphors.
right.
And I don't think people like I'm going to say even a little younger than us are going to take that metaphor. I know if somebody was talking to me in metaphors, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. But and I can imagine that the people in that locker room are also not interested.
Yeah.
And I think that that's showing up on the field. And then, of course, we made a trade. I mean, we paid Flacco all that money, and then we traded him back to the Jets for a 6th-round pick. So now we have 11 picks for the draft.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna say from listening to the stuff that's going on with Washington from the outside, yeah, I'm gonna agree with Pork Rind. It's gonna have to affect those guys because they're being bombarded daily by the media.
Yep.
And these guys are trying to go to practice, come out of practice, go live their lives, and they're just being bombarded from left and right. So yeah, I could see that, being an issue. As far as what, you're talking about flowers and pots and pans or whatever, I have no idea what's going on there.
Oh man, I think you might.
It was, and I tell you what, that's a great rendition. I think that you just did his whole speech, his whole 20-minute speech in about 3 seconds.
And I bet you the whole, Philly audience or the what do you call it, the media folks, they were just eating it up.
Oh yeah.
They were like, "Oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
This is good stuff."
Yeah, y'all, you got to realize the media up there in the Northeast between all three, you've got the Washington, Philly, and the New York. New York being the most brutal, of course. But we don't hear that much. I don't hear that much stuff down here in Texas, even though I'm listening to the ESPN and NFL Network and all those other networks. I don't keep up with what's going on with your teams that much, but from the stuff that I am hearing, especially with the Flacco trade being pulled back with the amount of money that was given and everything else, it's going to be interesting on what you guys are going to be doing here going forward. Are you guys going to play to win, or are you guys just going to play?
Well, that's remains to be seen. If the team is quit, how do you get the team back? You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part with this. Like, I'm a firm believer that this is like every other business, and you have to hire slow and fire fast. And when you feel that you've made the wrong decision, you got to step up to the plate and make the cut so that you can move forward as a franchise. I don't think Jalen Hurts is our guy. I love all of the things that he has to offer, but he is not our guy. And I don't think that Gardner Minshew is going to come in and save the world. You know, so
From the sound of it, I thought you were talking about the head coach there for a second.
well, that's the problem because ultimately it's going to get blamed on the quarterback, and the head coach is going to make a decision. I would want to fire the head coach. I just wanted to let him go and be like, "Hey, I made a poor decision here. The
Yeah.
defense is poor. The offense is predictable and weak. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, the players are starting to talk out about the fact that they don't have a game plan really well.
Oh wow.
And
That's not good.
Oh wow.
yeah,
That's not good at
so
all.
like Fletcher Cox is always saying, "Hey, I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do." You know, if I'm not, I'm not being aggressive. It's because I'm playing the screen, and I'm playing the screen a lot. So I'm not going after the quarterback as much.
Yeah.
And that's what the plays are being called. He's saying, "Hey, listen, I know my numbers are down because I'm told to protect."
Containment. Yeah. Containment.
And the containment, he's not a containment player. So
No.
again, you got somebody playing out of position. And if you're going to do that, you think that you're going to change it, that's the problem. That's the things that I see. And that's also the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, he doesn't have a clue half the time. I mean, two plays that really bothered me throughout the
sweep?
game. Yep. Well, no, beyond the sweep. Forget that. And forget the wide receiver screen. I ain't talking about that either. I'm talking about in this last game against the Raiders. All right, it's 4th and 3. The Raiders punt team came on the field. Nope, we're going to take the penalty and push him back another 10 yards. They threw a 43-yard pass. That's how that was a smart move, right? Hey, the punt team's already coming on the field. Nope. Let's throw them back out. We can make a stop here on 3rd and 15 because we're so good at it.
Don't even get me started about 3rd and long for us. Holy crap, man.
So I mean, last year is when the year I had left the points on the field. When I counted in the first 7 games, we left 96 points on the field. I mean, that was last year. So we're not having those problems this year because we're the best fourth quarter team that there is. Of course, we've given up so many points for the first 3 quarters that the fourth quarter doesn't matter much for us anymore. So
Well, see, here's the interesting thing from just listening to what you were talking about Fletcher Cox and what's going on. It sounds similar to the Dallas Cowboys last year, where our defensive coordinator was doing the exact same thing, making our defensive players play out of position. And Tank Lawrence was a very good example, putting him in the upright position as opposed to 3-point stance, which he wasn't comfortable, being on the outside like that. So it sounds like the coach has already lost the locker room.
Well, it's funny you were mentioning again. I want to echo about the defense. You guys didn't get a sack Sunday.
no, we did not get a sack. And I mean, hold on. The guy threw 31 for 34, and the one interception that he threw behind the guy, and really that was a bad thrown ball.
Right.
So,
Yep.
but 31 for 34. So, since the year 2000, the Eagles have let up one quarterback that threw for 80% completion percentage. One quarterback since the year 2000. This year, they've let up 4.
Wow.
Tell me that's not a defensive coaching problem. The players are the same players. I know they got a year older, but they're the same players.
Well, that's the same thing for Washington. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same players as last year. Coach hasn't changed.
I feel like we upgraded a little bit on our defensive backs. I mean, we brought in William Jackson from Cincinnati. But yeah, I mean, same defensive coaches.
Who is that coach?
Jack Del Rio is our defensive
coordinator.
coordinator. Yeah.
Well, Portline, you and I got something in common. I mean, we last year, you and I both we had top 10 defenses.
Yeah.
And now we're in the 20s. And and like yourself, we upgraded with Jackson, with Shelton. coming in as free agents, and I'm not seeing the production that I was hopeful for this year for our defense.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Jackson was the number 2 to Bradbury, and of course we still had Martinez. I think Logan re-signed for got an extension on his deal. And then of course with the draft of Ojulari from Georgia, I was frothing at the mouth defensively. I thought defensively we were going to be solid, and it turned out not to be the case. And now here we are in a similar situation as you guys are. Because what's that rookie last year? Number 2 pick.
Oh, for us, Chase Young.
Chase Young, right?
Yep.
Has he been effective this year?
Man, so he has been taking on a lot of double and triple teams.
Okay.
But I mean, a lot of people have been giving him crap because he's been on the sidelines a little bit, sucking wind. But I mean, when you're constantly taking on double, I don't think people realize that almost every down he's taking on a double or a triple team. So you are going to be sucking wind because the guy goes full speed every single down.
Right.
So
right.
he has been catching a little heat for being on the sideline a little bit more than what everybody expects. But like I said, when you're taking on double teams and triple teams, but
well, I mean, unless you go against us, because Andrew Thomas just takes care of him, and then we just go on about our game.
He definitely he held his own. I will give him that, man, because I had a front view seat of that. So it was he was very impressive.
So when's the next NFC East matchup? I know we're out for a while towards the end.
Yeah, ours is the 28th, Jamie.
Yeah,
this month or
November.
Shoot, I think our last 5 games are against NFC East.
That's what it is. We have 6 of our last 7. I'm sorry, 5 of our last 7. We're 3
of our last
6.
4.
5 of our last 6, actually.
So let me throw this out there. What gets the NFC East this year? Well, how many wins?
At the moment Dallas stops winning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in all seriousness.
I mean, 10 wins.
I mean, I hate
wins.
to say that like that, but that's the truth here. I mean, it's like I watch. I figure they're going to play Minnesota, and I think it's possible that the Cowboys could lose that game, but I don't see it happening. You know what I mean? I don't see that happening. So that puts them at 6-1. It's in Minnesota, ain't it?
Yeah, it's Minnesota Sunday Night Football.
If it was in Dallas, I'd say they might lose, but.
Well, home's actually been pretty good for us.
That's what I was saying. If the fact that they're away makes me think that we could, they could possibly lose. But coming off a bye, no, I don't believe that. I think that they win.
Minnesota had a bye as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, there. I guess I give them more of a shot now. I tell you what, I ain't betting on them.
Hell no. It really just depends on is Dak going to be fully healthy.
I believe so. And from seeing the play this year, he's really not. I mean, he's scrambling when he needs to scramble,
right?
But it's not anywhere where it was, even last year, him running around back there. He's getting around, he's getting down, he's being safe. I mean, he's taking a couple of big hits, but nothing like Jones over here last week catching that pass, taking the hit to the head.
Hey, and did you notice when he got up? He got up and went right to the huddle.
Oh, hell yeah.
Everybody was cheering around him, and he was like, all right, next play. We got a first down. Next play. What's next? Now, I mean, let's talk about Carolina and the Giants, if we may. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yeah, by the way, that was a Philly play, just so that you know.
I know. I heard that. I mean, I've heard it from Dallas Cowboy fans. I've heard it from Bengal fans. I'm like, oh, you're using the Philly special. I'm like, I don't care. I call it a first down. I mean, I can easily say it didn't work for Tom Brady, but it worked for us. Okay?
He made a good catch. He made a good catch on it.
Yeah, he made a great catch.
Everybody's calling it Beckham 2.0. I'm like, no. Let's not do that. because then he's going to be making proposals to like a field goal net or something here later on. I think I want people to understand something about the New York Football Giants in week 7 against the Carolina Panthers. And I'm pretty sure you guys can agree with me here. We had nothing to win for. We had nothing to play for. We had every excuse we could have. We had our Daniel Jones threw 203 yards, no picks, no fumbles, and a touchdown. And he got all that with a makeshift line, with a makeshift receiving core. And again, we had Shep that was out, Tony, Barkley, Thomas, and not to include Gates and our other offensive lineman that's hurt. This team showed a lot of heart, and I got to give kudos to the coaching staff and the coach Judge. The players bought in what the coaches were selling, and I hope they continue to buy in to what they're selling because it was a great team win. I mean, defensively, we were clicking. Offensively, although that goal line, that series after Rudolph didn't get in the end zone, where we ran the same play back to back. Yeah, don't worry. I already wrote a letter to Garrett. Don't do that again. But other than that, I mean, we just gotta. I just want everybody to understand something. We had every reason to lose and to fail, and we chose not to. And for that, I'm looking forward to Monday night.
There you go. You have a bye week this week?
Who, us? No, we play Kansas City.
Okay.
Kansas City Monday night.
Yeah.
In Kansas City, right?
In Kansas City, yeah.
There you go.
And that's going to be a real, especially after they were just embarrassed.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, didn't you play against Kansas City on a rebound game and they beat you guys, and now we got them on a rebound game. And
you mean the time they went 9 for 10 on third down? You mean the time that they scored on 8 out of 9 drives? You mean that time or something like that? It was something ridiculous like that
against the football team. I didn't know. No.
It wasn't against the football team. I was against the Chiefs. And we were keeping with them, except so the problem is you got to put the puck in the net. That's what I was saying that day. You got to put the puck in the net. You got to get in the end zone. You cannot kick field goals, and that's what we were doing. We were kicking field goals to their touchdowns.
Not against that team.
So,
Well,
they obviously they're human because Tennessee was all over them.
Yep.
Yeah, big time. But, Tennessee is a beatable team. I mean, all you got to do is control Derrick Henry, and that's it.
That's it.
I know it's easier said than done, but
Exactly. I mean, this is what we're going to do, and you stop us. And
well,
some teams do.
I mean, Tennessee did stop him. I mean, they gave up 89 yards to him, one touchdown pass, but I mean, they did. It was all the other tools around. That they were able to succeed. And you're right. That's the formula to beat them is just stop Derrick Henry. But at the same time, you better make sure that pass doesn't get baggy because it's going to happen regardless. But
well, yeah, if you make them one dimensional, I mean, Tannehill eventually. I mean, if you make Tannehill beat you, or try and make him beat you for 3 quarters, I mean, you're gonna have a better chance than having Henry run at you for 3 quarters and then just pray that your defense is like, okay, just take a couple more hits, guys. We're almost there. It's not going to work out. It's not.
That guy only gets stronger as the game goes on, too, man.
that's true.
God.
And what is he, like 6 foot? No, like 7'5" or something. 380. I mean,
380 pounds.
Yeah,
I would love to see him and Kyler Murray side by side. I would love to see that. That might even be a pay-per-view event,
Oh my goodness. Who are you guys facing tomorrow or Sunday, Pork Rind?
We've got the Broncos in Denver.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, that's a winnable game right there.
Is it though? I mean, Denver.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, Bridgewater, man,
Bridgewater's playing good football.
he is.
He's playing good football, but the thing is, I mean, well, you're traveling, and it's going to be a higher altitude, as everyone always says. So there could be some windy up there. Oh,
and what is
sneaky
this,
nose.
October? Yeah, it's cold now.
It's cold.
It's cold up there now. You muted again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
No,
should
it's
know
all
to push the
good.
button.
It's all good.
I said I flew over top of them coming from Vegas. There's snow caps on them mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
How
just
was
imagine.
Vegas?
So what's the over under on your game, Pork Ryan?
I haven't even looked at it yet.
Sneaky will tell us.
I have not even looked at
What
it.
on Washington? Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I have it.
Yeah. So what's going on with your quarterback there? I mean, is the team still behind him? What's going on? I mean, after this performance,
Actually, Denver's only given Washington 3 points, and it's a 44 over under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like the team has Heineke's back. I don't feel like they've shied away from him. I mean, Fitzpatrick, he's weeks away from what I read earlier this week, so they're sticking with him. You know, they've got Kyle Allen in the backup role, but I don't see him being the answer.
What's going on with the defense? What's the problem?
Yeah, that was my next follow-up question.
You know, in all seriousness, like, we don't know. We're trying to figure that out ourselves. I mean, our defensive line, you got nothing but first-round picks on the defensive line.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that falls back on Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded coach, is he not?
Yeah.
And then you got Jack Del Rio, of course,
Right.
who's the defensive coordinator there. So is it a butting of heads that they're having that's offsetting the defense? I mean,
you know, I don't get it, man. It's funny because last year we struggled in the beginning of the season, and then the minute that Landon Collins got hurt when he tore his Achilles, and then they brought in Jeremy Reeves and Cam Curl, like, it just brought our defense to life. And then earlier this season, with Landon being back, we were like, okay, we're going to be even better because Landon is a good player, but he just, I don't know, he hasn't been doing what he did for New York for all those years. So the coach, actually, Ron, put him in the linebacker role last week, and he seemed to be, a little bit better. And I feel like Danny Johnson actually filled in pretty nice in the safety spot. But
okay.
And I feel like they did play better. The defense did play better. I mean, they held Aaron Rodgers to, I think, 24 points.
So you just said something very interesting there. You said Ron Rivera put him back at linebacker.
Yep, he felt like he was more in the box player, so he felt like he fit that linebacker position. And I mean, Landon even admitted he doesn't like that position, but that's where he needs to be. That's where he'll. So I mean, that was big of Landon to do.
Well, the interesting part, the reason I'm saying that is because now it sounds to me there is a butting of heads between Del Rio.
Philosophical differences.
Exactly.
Could
and
be.
if that's the case where coach is putting, his player where he wants him to play at, not believing in the philosophy of Del Rio, there's going to be an issue there coming down the line.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Or think of it this way. Maybe Del Rio recommended that to Rivera, and he signed off on that because it would fit the philosophy or the defensive scheme.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that.
You're not buying that?
No.
I just, for some reason, Del Rio seems like he seems like a very professional guy. Yeah. And he knows his place.
Yep.
Meaning, because he's been a head coach before.
Correct. And see, that's where the butt heads come in.
And he's been a defensive coordinator. Of course, we don't know. I mean, we don't know, and you might be right. But I think it's because when you say butting of the heads, I'm starting to think as well, maybe Judge is getting frustrated with Garrett. and maybe there's going to be some issues in the long run. I really don't see Garrett being there next year as offensive coordinator. Either he finds another job as a head coach, or the Giants decides to go a different direction. But when you come from a head coaching position back down to a coordinating position, it is a humbling experience. I mean, look, your defensive coordinator just last year was a head coach, and now he is a defensive coordinator. So
Exactly. And
Some
see that
coaches are just coordinators.
but then again, a lot of these head coaches are better defense and offensive coordinators.
Yep.
and that's what that's where I was alluding to, and I've said on previous shows, is where some coaches are just better coordinators than they are head coaches. That's why they fill the position. As far as your Garrett and your coach is at, I'm going to say, yeah, they are butting heads, because you can tell from the plays that you see on the offensive side that you haven't seen before.
Mhm.
So again, is he signing off? Who knows? But I think it's just the head coach saying, hey, this is what I want ran.
I can tell you what I haven't been singing at is a damn jet sweep for the last 3 weeks.
Well, you didn't want to see it.
Dang,
You called it.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, please let it go. He did a reverse against the Rams, a loss for like 7, but at least we haven't seen a jet sweep. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Who you guys facing this week, Philly?
We are going up against Detroit, Rock City. So
At home or in Detroit?
we're in Detroit. So I'm actually taking the ride, going up to Detroit, and I think this is a winnable game. However,
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
I just don't know. I just don't know anymore. Like, as much as I'm going to root for my team. I'm going to say on Sunday that they're going to win. You know what I mean? Because that's what I do. However, it makes me wonder if they lose this game. It does a couple of things. You know, one, it kind of sets the stage for the rest of the season. Excuse me. Two, it allows Miami to be the worst team in the league, which gives us the number 1 pick in the draft. So, not that Miami can't turn it on and win the rest of the season or win even a couple games in the season, but Detroit has been in the games.
Yes.
Miami has not really been, and right now, I'm unsure. I'm unsure about our quarterback, and I'm unsure about our coach, and that unsureness is making me question everything.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
have
said,
to.
I mean,
And
literally,
it's a fairly even game because Vegas has you guys at what, at 3.5? If I'm not
they might
mistaken.
3.5 favorite.
Yeah, favorite. Yeah.
And Detroit's been in those games, and
Yeah.
I mean, you had Baltimore beat them in that last second field goal to come back and win by 1 from a 65, 66 yard, whatever that was.
Right.
Oh, the record. Yeah, he took the record.
But the issue
60,
that I see,
65,
yeah, it was a record. The issue that I see is I wonder who is still on the page and who has closed the book.
Right.
You know, I think that's going to be the issue. If this guy, if the defensive coordinator is not calling these plays to make sure that they don't get beat long and they don't get beat small, like it's just, I don't know what he's doing. Their game planning is horrendous, and it's, I mean, just the other play that really bothered me in this game was 2nd and 1. You did a sneak. You gained 2 foot. I'm on third and goal. I'm yelling from the other side of the field. Do it again. No, let's go into shotgun. I turned to the Raiders fan right next to me. I was in the black hole, and I'm literally, as I'm, you know that me, I don't curse, and I said, I don't know what the F he's doing. This is going to be an S show. You know what I mean? I said that out loud to the guy next to me. Guy turned to me and he goes, "Well, you called that." I says, "I didn't effing call it. He did out there on the field." It was such a mess. And you know me, I don't curse. I don't curse. I was so angry when I can coach the team better than the coach who's getting paid a lot of money to do it. I've got a problem with that. That's where I have problems. I don't get angry if we lose the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't pay me enough money to care. But when I'm coaching the team better than the coaches, I care. I actually it bothers me because they get paid a lot of money and I don't. I pay a lot of money. So
yes, we do.
I want them to do better. If they can't do better, then I'm going to start being loud about it.
Yep.
You know, I don't boo, but I am sure very critical of this team. They get a lot of my money, and I spend a lot of my time paying attention to this team. They better figure it out and figure it out fast. And that's just how I feel about that.
Well,
I
let
don't
me
mind.
ask you. So let me ask you this. So we were talking in the beginning of the season when they introduced your new head coach, and I had made the comment that he couldn't even talk to the media.
That was bad.
But to Philly sports guys' credit, he defended him. He was on, backed him up, and I would have done the same thing. But I want to ask you this, and I know it's 7 weeks past now. Were you saying that to make yourself believe it, or you were just holding out hope?
So I felt that you can't. Hey, listen. Everybody has. He's a brand new head coach. The very first interview, he was. I thought he was improperly prepped. He improperly. I guess he approached it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I thought that he could get beyond that. I gave the guy the possibility of getting beyond that. Hey, listen, I'm going to. Hey, you are what your record is.
Yes.
His record was 0-1 in talks with the media after that. So it was his first one. I gave him a pass on that. Gave him a mulligan. Then he came out with the scissors, paper, rock. But and now he came out with the plants. The fertilizer
don't forget he came out with the Beat Dallas shirt.
Yeah.
come out with the Beat Dallas shirt.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did the Philly play. You know what I mean? Like it just the Philly special in a very weird way at a very weird time. So that failed miserably, and that kind of tells me that either there's something ridiculous going on, like in a way that he's not in control of anything whatsoever,
Right.
and it's above him that's doing it, or the buck stops with him and he just stinks. Some people are meant to be coordinators. Some people are meant to be coordinator assistants, which is kind of what he was to Frank Reich because he didn't call plays.
Right.
He just helped implement the plays that somebody else was calling. It's a shame he couldn't figure out some of that book and redo some of those plays, or he doesn't have the memory. I don't know. He said he was going to simplify everything, and he did, down to high school. Because I always wonder why does nobody do the wishbone offense? How come there's no more power eyes anymore in the NFL? Those used to work great back in the day.
Right.
You have two guys in the backfield, the running back who's going to get the ball, the third guy. You have people plugging the holes, bam, 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 and it would work great. They don't do that anymore because those are college plays. There's a reason for why they're college plays. And that's kind of what I see with this guy. He's got it even less than that. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what he's doing, and I don't think he knows what he's doing half the time. You know what I mean? And that bothers me.
Yeah. Well, you keep talking about the head coach. I mean, The good thing is I don't see the Kansas City Chiefs getting as far as they did the last 2 years. So
Yeah, no.
you got Eric
Mm.
Bieniemy. So
Yeah, but so now we're talking about a different set of egos because ultimately, are they going to have a strong enough ego? Is Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie as owner and general manager have a strong enough ego to be able to admit failure
right,
and go after somebody worthwhile, or are they going to stick to their guns and ride it out? You know, and ultimately, who's going to be the one that's head rolls? You know, because
It's not going to
if
be
it
the owners.
no,
well, if it is the owners, you got to go up there and accept responsibility for it. If you're going to go ahead and say no, it's your fault. If you're going to point your finger down, then you better believe that that guy's got a head's got to roll. If you're going to consider that him and Howie equal, which I guess he could possibly do, that hey, I'm just the owner. Howie's the one that makes all of the decisions, and he's the guy who actually runs the whole show. If
Yeah.
that's the case, then when that person is ultimately responsible for a ridiculously bad season and a bad hire, then he's got to go. And then, are you going to trust the next person that you're involving? And I feel that they're going to have no choice but to let this guy go if this season ends the way it's begun.
yep.
So you're saying that there's a good chance he's going to be a bridge coach.
A one and done.
I can see
Maybe
that.
for enemy. Maybe for enemy. You know what I mean? That could have been the plan all along.
Yeah. I don't think with what you're discussing right there with the owner, the GM, and everybody else. I think the issue is going to be with who, as a coach, is going to want to go to that organization based upon those two.
Right.
Yep.
Because that you, like you said, that you got two strong heads right there, and then you're going to want a head coach that comes in and reorganizes this thing, and that coach is going to want some sort of approval and some kind of authority to bring in the people that he wants, and sometimes that doesn't always work.
Well,
let me answer this.
yeah,
When Chip was there, was he the GM as well? I mean, was he given
for the last
all the
season,
Okay, so I mean, do you think and who's the owner again? What's his name? The guy with
Jeffrey
the
Lurie.
Jeffrey
yeah.
Lurie.
Do you believe that maybe he might be a little shell shocked and allowing that to happen again, to where I get where a coach is coming in, a new coach is coming in, and he's going to want to bring in his own staff, and then maybe during the draft he already has an idea of what direction he wants to go in that draft, despite the needs of the Eagles, but but he wants to get his players. Do you think that would be an issue, or an issue of a new coach coming in?
That's.
I mean,
See,
if I'm a
you're
head,
asking here. It's so many different layers to that question.
right, that's
Uh,
fair.
and it's I can't. Uh, looking at Dallas all this time and how Jerry Jones was the guy fiddling with everything, and it took him about 20 years to do it.
26.
You know,
I mean, give or take a couple years. I'm just saying, give or take.
right, exactly, 26. So, and he hasn't been able to get. I mean, they're doing well this year. So, if they win the Super Bowl at the end of this year, then it was kind of worth it. If you guys don't win the Super Bowl this year, it makes it another year where he gets to play with things where he could possibly screw it up.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing from that perspective. I think Jerry Jones has. I mean, if you would hear some of the interviews that he's having, he knows exactly what he did these past 2 decades and a half. And now he's taking a step back, and I really mean that. You can see the step that he's taking back and the enjoyment he's seeing in the football games, and letting Steven do more of the creativity side and letting the head coaches and coordinators do what they're doing. If your owner is going to step in it, you're going to be stuck here for 2 decades, because there ain't nothing these headstrong guys can't do to get themselves to screw the pooch. Just, I mean, you see our owner as an example, but again, he's changed his ways. And I'm telling you, if you go back and listen to those conversations, you'll hear the difference on the approach that he's taken as the owner compared to what the last 2 decades he's done.
You know, one thing I will say about Jerry Jones is that, and I'm going to say something nice, True Blue, only because I like you, and it's going to be nice about the Dallas Cowboys, is it doesn't show weakness when a man can admit his faults. And when he, told Jimmy that he was basically wrong, I'm not going to quote him word for word. I mean, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually I was like, oh my God. I mean, first I was surprised to see them on the same stage together.
I was 10 foot away.
And who knows what they talked about before. I mean, he probably apologized offline. And for all I know, Jimmy probably thought, oh, this is probably it. He's not going to say it publicly. But then when he came out and said it, and then basically said, when do you want to come in and do the Ring of Honor, this season, that takes, I mean, you're right. Maybe he is having a time of reflection and maybe taking a step back in football operations and whatnot. But and again, the reason why I shake my head is there's a lot of NFC teams in the conference. There's a lot of teams in the conference that's going to be competing, and it's going to be a tough playoffs. So, we'll see.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough playoff, and I heard the amount of losses right now, the amount of wins and losses teams have occurred. 2-win teams, I think there's a total of 10 2-win teams in the entire NFL, which is unheard of at this moment. 7 games in, and they're saying it's probably going to be one of the worst years. So that says a lot right there on that stat alone. So it's going to be interesting to see where, I mean, especially with the playoff system being set up the way it is this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it not now included another team? So now there's only one bye.
Yeah.
One bye.
Yep. Yeah. It was same as last year. It started last year, where now there's 7 teams in each.
Yeah. It's just, it's a lot of football, a lot. 18 weeks, and then the playoffs with the additional team in the playoff. So
yeah,
I'm just interested.
And don't be surprised. That they'll go to an 8-team playoff. Or like a 9-team playoff, and an 18-week season, and everybody gets a bye. Because that would be the way to get the extra bye to get the Super Bowl by around President's Day.
Yeah,
because that's the goal. That's the goal ultimately. And if you had 8 and 9 or 7 and 6 and 8 and 9, play that out. To be the last 2 seeds to get into the playoffs, that's going to work. And you give everybody a bye after that.
Yep.
So what now is the last bye week of the regular season for the last NFL team? Is it week 13, 14?
14. We have it on week 14. So, and it's so ridiculous that it's so late in the season.
Exactly.
If we were doing great, that would be perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
In the meantime, it's like now's the time where we need it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's again where you have everything set up, and then of course our bye week was this past weekend when things are starting to roll and much needed break. But again, week 14 for a bye week is way out there.
It's ridiculous.
Right. So that's why if they're going to go to 18 games, then it's worthwhile to have, because you're going to need the 2 buys.
So Jamie, the way you're explaining it, you would have, say, a wild card and then a first round game. Is that what you're saying? Like you have one wild card game, but then you have like a first round game, right? Kind of like a play-in game.
You would a play-in game, a play-in game where, and I'm saying it might be, 8, 7, 6, and 5 all play each other, and the top 4 get a bye,
right.
which would be division winners.
Right.
And that would be the way that would work, so that everybody would get the bye, especially now with all the disparity that's happening as we speak, where you said 10 teams have 2 wins. I'm hoping you mean 10 teams have 2 wins or less.
Yes.
Because if it's counting just 10 teams have 2 wins, and then you still got Detroit, you know what I mean? That's got no wins. That's a lot of teams.
You're correct.
It's 10 teams or less. Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, that's still a lot of teams because you got Miami, who's got 1 win. You know what I mean? That's
you got Philly, Washington, and the Giants with 2 wins. Yeah.
And the Jets actually have a game because they beat the Titans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy as that is.
Crazy.
Yep. And then Jacksonville, did they win a game yet?
Yeah,
they
won in London against Miami.
Right. Thank you, Jacksonville. I appreciate that. So, I mean, but there you go, and there you have. And then what? Well, I guess what? New England won their 3rd game this week, or was it just their 2nd?
I want to say the 3rd.
That might have been
that
their 3rd.
was the third. That was the third.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and Detroit hasn't won.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's that was the one thing I was talking to my buddy Afro Man, and he's like, yeah, to beat the Lions, it's really simple. All you gotta do is throw across the middle and run the ball. And I says, yeah, that's the 2 things we don't do.
Well, the other one is kick a field goal with time running out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as crappy as that is to say. That's how they've lost the last several games.
Well, maybe they should fire the kicker. So.
No,
anyways,
he's probably the leading scorer. Why would you want to do that?
So let's go to the picks. It starts off just because it happens to be up close and personal. The Eagles versus the Lions, -3.5 and 48.
Go ahead, True Blue.
Go.
Wait. Pork rind. This is your first one. Go ahead, Pork rind.
All right, I'm gonna go with Detroit. I think they pull it off.
Over under.
What was
48?
48. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over 48. I say it's gonna be. I'm gonna say 28-14.
That's definitely under.
That's definitely under.
You said 42, right?
48.
Oh shit! Never mind. Then I'm gonna go under 20. Yeah, I'm gonna go under. Sorry.
All right.
I'm gonna say Detroit, and it's gonna be by a field goal, and it's gonna be the under. It's definitely gonna be under. I'm gonna say 16-15.
Oh wow.
Field goal.
They're going to make the field goal this time.
They're going to make the field goal. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna go with you guys are traveling. This is the second travel game, and I'm gonna go to Detroit under 23-17.
So y'all chose the under, and Detroit. I'm definitely going Eagles and over, because every time I've learned that when everybody's going one way, definitely go the other way. I think we score a lot of points on Detroit, and I think Detroit scores a lot of points. I think it's definitely an over, and I think that Detroit finds ways to lose, and they lose this game by 6 points. I won't give a score. I just know over, and the Eagles.
There you go.
Just say 46-40, then call it good.
Yeah, I wouldn't go over 80, but that's just me. All right, so we got the Washington football team and the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are giving 3, and it's a 44.
What time are they playing at? 125?
425, 125 out there.
Pork Ryan, what you got?
Man, hate to do it, but I'm gonna go Denver. You said it was 40 what?
43.
43?
44.
44.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna say under. Yeah, I'm not gonna give a score. Like I don't want to give a score because I don't want to embarrass myself. But yeah, it's gonna be under, and it's gonna be Denver.
21-17 makes that.
Yep.
I actually think that Denver's falling apart right now. That you're catching them at a good time. I think that Washington could win this game. I actually think it will be very close. I would take Washington with the points. I think if you guys do lose it, it's like to a last-second field goal.
Blew it again, right?
Well, I don't. Yeah, that could very well be. But I think it's going to be over. Again, it's like 44 points is not a lot of points, and that usually says under. But you guys have been letting up a lot of points, so I think it's an over game.
I think it's gonna be a defensive game, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna say it's gonna be right there on the cusp. I'm gonna say 45 points. So I think it's gonna be somewhere in the realm of 27-23.
Yeah, so Denver is ranked 4th in points allowed on defense. So
and Washington's 32nd, by the way.
Right, exactly. So
can't get any lower than that, right?
Can only go up from there.
I think it's going to be definitely under. I'll say it'll be. I'll say by 10 points it'll be under. I'll go Denver. I'll say Denver 21. The football team 10.
I'm going to keep track of these. We're going back to this.
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it'll be interesting because I think Denver has a decent defense.
They do.
To where it's going to be competitive, and the football team is going to have to earn every first down and every point. So
I think the traveling as well.
Yeah, and you are at Mile High. I mean, you are way above sea level.
So if Chase is getting winded on a regular field, imagine him up there.
Yeah. And Pork Rind, I got to give it to you. That's some good stuff. I could never go against my team. I could never. I mean,
I'm a realist, man.
And there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that.
All right. So next game, Dallas Cowboys over the Vikings at 8:20. Dallas is getting 1.5, and the Viking over under is 55.
I am going to go with the Cowboys. The defense of the Vikings has been playing good ball. I'm going to have to say under because I believe we're going to hold Minnesota. A lot tighter game. I believe we're going to win by 4. And I think it's going to be, again, I believe we're going to get over 30 points. It's going to be 31-27.
31-27. That's over. So it's 58.
I'm gonna go with Dallas. I'm gonna say it's gonna be over. And the reason why Kirk Cousins sucks for prime time. He is horrible. And trust me, I know from experience. But yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be 49-24.
Damn.
Yeah, that's very close to their average.
That's 2 defensive touchdowns for.
He's gonna throw 2 pick sixes.
I hope so.
God, I hope.
I
you're wrong.
actually think it's going to be a lot closer than that, but it will go over. I think these teams both can score a lot of points. I mean, you look at Kirk Cousins. I know how bad you think he played, but the last time he played on Monday Night Football, he actually did win. The last couple times, and he's got a 105.4 passer rating, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So, and I think that what Dallas's defense, I don't believe in yet. They played better, but I don't believe in them yet. So I think it's going to be a closer game. I think that Minnesota could win it. I would take Minnesota with the points, which is 1.5. So it could be that close. It could be like a 1 point game. But I think that would be like a backdoor cover where, that they got there and then they like flub an extra point or something. You know what I mean? Like that would be like as ridiculous as they play. Um, but yeah, that's what I say.
So the last time the Dallas Cowboys played a decent quarterback, well, I'll say a good quarterback that finished the game. Notice how I threw that caveat on there. Was a rookie, and before that it was Brady, and it kept the game close. So I really feel that Minnesota definitely. I mean, of course they have a chance. They're showing up any given Sunday. I'm going to take Minnesota, and Jamie, I'm with you. It's going to go over, and I'm not going to take the points because I think it's going to be like 33-30. Minnesota kicks the field goal to win the game.
Wow.
And it'll be that half a point over. It'll be that half a point over.
See, and I think it's going to be one of those where we give up 7 points at the very end of the game to put us over, to put it over that 55. I'm saying under, but I believe they're going to allow one touchdown at the very end of the game when it's already over.
Right.
So
that could be where the backdoor cover comes in, where they get the 2 point conversion. They're down by 9. They get the 2 point conversion. Now they're only down by 1, and they missed the onside kick. And last but not least, we have Monday Night Football. The Giants at Kansas City. Kansas City is giving the Giants 9.5, and we have 52 points over under.
I'll go last on this one.
Go ahead, True.
I'm gonna go KC rebounding off that bad knockoff from Tennessee. Oh, I believe the Giants are going to score at least 2 touchdowns. I know KC will score at least 3 plus 2 field goals. 26-17 KC.
That's under.
Yep.
All right. I think Kansas City scores a lot of points. I think that the Giants try to keep up with them, but that the defense actually shows up a little bit for Kansas City. Not a lot, but a little bit. And 9.5 points is a lot of points to give anybody. I would take the Giants with the points. I think Kansas City wins the game outright. And I like the over under kind of. I guess it goes over because I have it at like 38-30.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. So being at that, I mean, our defense are fairly. I mean, we're fairly even. I mean, we're 23rd. They're 27th in points allowed. Although we are breaking even in takeaways, we're ranked higher than in takeaways. Obviously, I'm taking the Giants. I mean, that's a given.
Listen to this score, Pork Rind.
And I'm going to go under, and I'll say we win 24-20.
Whoa, not 74-13.
I was
waiting for one of those.
I was tempted. Actually
48-3.
Actually, the funny thing, I was going to take Minnesota with 55, and say they were going to break even, and Dallas don't score any. But I didn't want to do that to you. So,
Well, all right. So there we have it. I think we all have, we got our picks in. I'm going to start keeping track. We're going to go. We'll start today. Today's the starting point. So,
let's do
all
it.
right. Well, listen, everybody, I really do appreciate everybody sticking with us tonight. Jeff, it was awesome to have you here. I hope we're able to get you back over and over again. It's good to actually have Washington in the mix here. So,
I'll be here next week.
awesome. I appreciate it. And, for everybody back at home, we'll see you next Wednesday. In the meantime,
Let's go,
Birds!
Cowboys.
Ow!